This is my truck that I built and create. But it's not just any truck. This one has a special trick up its sleeve. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I have built myself this truck here, which, as you've just now seen, is not only capable of driving around over terrain, it is also fully amphibious, so you can take it out on the water. It works pretty well, if I say so myself. But before I get into exactly how it's built and how it works, why? Is there a practical reason to build something like this? Well, for one, it's really cool. Second, I wanted something that didn't require roads, rails, or even rivers to get around. I wanted one vehicle that could drive across rough terrain, cross lakes without bridges, and haul cargo wherever it needed to go. And because of that, this design pushed itself into becoming fully amphibious. As you may have already noticed, I visually based the design off the American HEMTT, which is a real-world, large 8x8 truck used by the US military. It fit the vibe I was going for. I wanted a very utilitarian and multi-purpose vehicle, and I think it looks cool. The truck itself is built on top of an encased chain drive shaft of sorts, with the wheel mounts directly attached at the sides. The drivetrain runs down the center of the truck, sending power to all 8 wheels while also feeding the main water propeller. The drive shaft takes advantage of the fact that you can rotate these blocks 90 degrees and it will still carry the power throughout. This is how we tie in the water propulsion system and get power from the main engine, which sits up on top of the drive shaft. The engine compartment is tucked just behind the cab. I made sure to try to put the portable engine somewhere it was easily accessible for fueling. The engine power runs through a simple directional gear shift, which feeds into an analog transmission. A redstone link lets a throttle lever in the cab control the ratio so that you can adjust your speed on the fly. Even though this design is about as compact as I could make it, it still takes a lot of power to get it up to speed without overstressing the drivetrain. I'm using a portable engine that I've reconfigured. This one specifically produces just over 20,000 stress units, which is quite a bit, but it definitely makes this design work a lot better. I have a video on how to do that if you're interested in making your engines more powerful. Behind the engine compartment is the main aquatic propulsion system. These two propellers are powered by the main drive shaft, so when the wheels are powered, these are powered as well. It is a permanent connection. Adding a way to swap between both systems would have been cool, but also required a lot more space and complexity, so I didn't do it. For similar reasons, I wasn't able to set up a way to control these two props independently so that you could use it like a skid steer to turn the truck around. Because of that, it necessitated the addition of these two props back here. They share a single directional gear shift which provides sideways thrust to the truck to turn and spin around in the water. I had to add an additional portable engine at the very back to make sure I could power these even when the truck isn't moving forward. I did try to find a way to connect everything to one single engine, but there just wasn't a clean and efficient way to do it, so I just added another one. This one does use significantly less power than the main one up front. Still, I am pretty happy with how compact I was able to get everything, as well as retaining the completely flat cargo bed. The blades of the propellers do stick out a little, but they don't seem to have any collisions, so it's purely a visual thing, and it won't break or mess with any cargo you put back here. Moving back to the front, it's a fairly simple cab. Each side has a ladder for climbing up to get into the door so you can climb in, which is just a copycat trapdoor. The driver controls use a linked typewriter. The only keybinds needed to operate are WASD. It's very simple to drive. There is a passenger seat here for a friend to ride along with you, as well as a chest for some glove box style storage. Also, 2 barrels located under the sides of the bed for a little bit more extra storage capacity, if you're so inclined. The main practical feature of this design, though, is the flatbed itself, with these rope connectors on the sides to act as tie-down points. You can pretty much put whatever you want back here, whether it's pallets, large bulky cargo, cages, fluid tanks, or even a trailer hitch so you can pull even more stuff behind you. Do keep in mind though, this thing does still need to float, so there is a limit to how much weight you can put back here. You may have noticed the floaters located under the front bumper. I found that having the front bumper float higher than the rear is a big help for being able to drive back out of the water. And that pretty much covers the mechanics of the design. It's honestly pretty simple. Oh, and the body is made out of wool to make it actually float. Now that we've covered the design itself, how well does it all work? Having 8 wheels spaced evenly along the length of the truck means it's essentially impossible to get high-centered on terrain. At least I haven't managed to do it yet. The all-wheel steering lends itself to aiding in navigating through tight spaces and essentially letting you wiggle your way around things if you ever start to get stuck or pinched. Its main shortcoming off-road, though, is its ground clearance and approach angles. The front bumper and flotation elements hang down just low enough to sometimes catch on the edges of certain blocks. It doesn't happen every time, but it does happen occasionally enough to be mildly irritating if you don't pay attention. In varied terrain, it definitely takes a little more effort and planning to successfully traverse different obstacles. You can't just send it and hope for the best. It's also still very capable of bringing equipment and supplies over the varied terrain, including, say, construction equipment that you want to use to develop terrain, or supplies to build a bridge. Whatever you need, it can bring it for you. Into the water, though, this is where the design really shines. It naturally floats almost completely level, even with cargo on the flatbed. It doesn't struggle to keep itself upright or have any major stability issues, even though it doesn't have a gyroscope or any aids like that. It's pretty naturally balanced. The propellers provide more than enough power to move it through the water at a very respectable pace. It's almost enough to be considered fast, actually. Steering in the water can be a little tricky at times. Because there's only one set of steering propellers, steering inputs tend to make the back half drift around a little more than you might initially expect. I think this is because the moment of rotation is somewhere around the very front of the truck as opposed to rotating at the center. Sure, this could be corrected with a second set of steering propellers at the front of the truck so that it rotates around the center of the axis, but the current design really doesn't have a lot of room to support such an addition. And it's still perfectly workable as is. It doesn't do anything that makes it undrivable. It just requires a little extra practice for getting a feel for its handling. Getting back out of the water onto land is a breeze. It can't climb a bank with completely flat sides, but it only needs the slightest little slope to get itself out. The large amount of wheels along the centerline means there's usually always rubber on the ground to provide power to pull itself out, so you don't have to worry about the climb angle getting too steep and high centering yourself. Even carrying cargo or a trailer, there's plenty of power for it to drag itself and whatever you're carrying back out of the water and onto flat ground again. Personally, I think this design completely exceeded my goals for this project. It is a completely flexible flatbed that can operate pretty much anywhere you can find in a Minecraft world. And because of that flatbed, it can be adapted to pretty much whatever you need it to be. And I think that's my favorite aspect. Even as the world around it grows and is developed, it will still be able to be used because of that flexibility. It doesn't require roads or canals, but it can still take advantage of them once they're built. It can be adapted into any role and then converted back after you build something more specialized. It's a true practical workhorse. I'm definitely looking forward to playing with it further, seeing how well it serves alongside the other designs I have built and will build in the future. So that's my amphibious truck design. I hope you enjoyed the showcase and that it inspires you with your own ideas for your own builds. If there's anything you think I could improve on in this design or have suggestions for something completely new, please do tell me in the comments. I try to read them whenever I can. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.